Trap is M Knight Shyamalan's latest movie to be released, and it's safe to say that it's dividing opinions following its ending. Focused on a serial killer that was trapped inside of a concert for Lady Raven, which was set up by the FBI with the intention of finding him due to a receipt that was found at a crime scene placing him there. This movie had multiple twists within it, but did it have too many? With an ending that felt like it just went on a little bit too long and maybe trod in the territory of becoming a bit ridiculous. I thought it was worth delving into the movie, breaking down the ending and answering exactly what happened. So let's get into it. Here is Trap Ending Explained and Review. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The Ending Explained. In terms of the ending, we saw that Cooper had finally found himself in a situation where he was unable to escape from the stadium because all of the men that were in attendance were being searched by the police as they left. This was where he then turned on Lady Raven and informed her that he was the killer and the reason that the entire concert had been set up, so that he could be found. The only way for him to make it out was for him and Riley to walk out with Lady Raven, as the people with her had automatic clearance. However, with Lady Raven going to Cooper's house, this was where the movie took a dark turn and we saw the Butcher actually appear. Cooper kept seeing this random woman throughout the concert, and it turned out that it was his mother that was appearing in front of him as a hallucination. We found out from the FBI profiler that he probably endured some kind of trauma from his mother and was punished a lot when he was younger, hence why he only listened and responded to authoritarians. It turned out that Cooper had safe houses all around, and that was where he committed his murders and kept his victims. With Lady Raven finding out about Spencer, who was the person that we saw on the video stream that Cooper was keeping watch over, she took his phone, went into the bathroom, got Jeffrey the driver to call the police, and then went live and mentioned the broken lion statue and the blue door. Something which was a clue as to where Spencer was located, so she said that to her followers with the hopes of them finding him, which they did. Once Lady Raven did that, Cooper moved his family into Riley's room so that they were out of the way. However, as he went to leave and wanted to claim Riley as his next victim, his family stood in front of the garage door in shock as they were upset at the revelation that he was this serial killer that was present amongst the town. Right at the end of the movie, once Cooper had escaped several times and Riley got away, we saw the twist occur where he was back at the house, and we found out that his wife, Rachel, was originally suspicious that he was the killer, and that she was essentially the reason as to why the Trap concert was created. She followed Cooper to the safe house one time, and when she went there was just an empty chair in the room, and she left a tearing of the receipt for the tickets to the concert there. She did that so that it would look like some kind of mistake that the killer had left there and forced the FBI to investigate. She was suspicious because Cooper was always out late, and when he returned he smelt like cleaning products from a hospital. Cooper mentioned in that moment that he was filled with a level of anger that he'd never experienced before. There was no darkness driving him, but it was the prospect of never being able to see his children again. The very thing that he felt Rachel had taken away from him that was going to now drive him to kill her. However, with her giving him a piece of pie, she laced it with the same substance that he would use on his victims in order to knock them out and get them to where he wanted them. This then meant that the police had time to enter, and one final time he saw what he believed was his mother speaking to him and saying how she wanted to see the monster that was inside of him one final time. However, the hallucination wasn't in fact his mother. It was the FBI profiler lurking in the darkness, and she knew how to speak with him because she was the person that essentially profiled him down to the wire. With him going over to the bike after being arrested, we saw he managed to take a part of it, and from there, once in the back of the van, he used it to unlock his handcuffs, and it very much seemed like throughout the rest of the movie he was going to escape yet again, showing that the Butcher wasn't finished with his work and that he'd be returning. The ending kind of reminded me a bit of Split in the sense that it just went extremely unrealistic. When Cooper was tasered several times, he withstood it and also managed to take out an officer in the process. Yeah, it was strange from a tonal perspective. But anyway, the smile that he had at the end showed that the Butcher was now present, and without that part of his life that he cared so deeply about, his family and his children, he didn't need to separate his personalities anymore. I think it meant that the Butcher had taken over Cooper, and the monster was now out of hiding. He was only going to be that moving forward. My review of the movie. Honestly, I was pretty disappointed with this film. Shyamalan usually has some real solid twists, but I think this one just contained too many, and none of them really packed any kind of punch. The wife being suspicious and being responsible for the trap really didn't give me a gut-hitting moment. I'd also say that I almost felt like this movie was set in a world that was in a completely different universe because it just all felt a bit ridiculous and not realistic in the slightest at points. For example, stopping 3,000 men at the concert just felt like something that wouldn't happen. The star of the show getting in a limo and going to the killer's house without any kind of protection or questions being asked just wouldn't happen either. The slow walking to the van when Cooper was arrested, allowing him to get the bike, then allowing Riley to hug him. Even Cooper's behavior and everything he got away with. He almost just felt like a ghost at points. He was able to evade situations that just felt unescapable, such as when he was in the limo around the crowd and when he escaped from the house through the tunnel undetected. I thought the most interesting part of the movie was probably seeing Justin Hartnett's performance and the deterioration of the character as he slowly came to the realization that he was trapped and there was no avoiding the FBI. The smile that he had at the end in the police car was a look that we hadn't seen him ever have before. And that was the true Butcher and the monster that was within coming to fruition and taking over his mind. The final third of the movie, when Cooper, Riley, and Lady Raven were outside of the stadium, probably felt like the longest part of it. It just didn't feel realistic to me, and I think it transported me out of the world. I don't know why Cooper just didn't kick the door down when she was in the bathroom, considering the type of person that he was. But instead, he let Lady Raven stay in the bathroom, go on his phone, do a live stream, and then ultimately lost his victim. My only justification for his actions and the lack of authority that he had was because in that moment he was caught in between the two lives that he liked to keep separately, so it almost just threw him off. I felt like another part of the film that was enjoyable to follow was when Cooper was gradually finding out more information and hearing the different things that were going on whilst inside the stadium. Seeing the panic that he had and the scheming that he had to do was something that was gripping, because at that point, we as the audience genuinely didn't know if he was going to make it out. When comparing this to his previous two films, I would say that this is actually at the bottom for me. I preferred Knock at the Cabin and also Old. Yeah, don't come at me for that. But this just felt a bit ridiculous at times, and it didn't pack the punch that I've come to expect with the director. Josh Hartnett was probably the best thing about this movie. The transformation of the character and the understanding of the trauma that he went through, which drove him to not only kill because of the monster that was within him, but also what gave him that unconditional love towards his children. The very thing that he never received was clear to see. He understood the role, and I commend him for that. Overall, I was pretty disappointed with this film. It didn't live up to my expectations, and to be honest, I don't feel as though they were that high. For a movie that was an hour and 45 minutes long, it felt considerably longer, especially as it approached the ending. The twist was lackluster. I never really felt as though I understood the motives of why Cooper killed 12 people, and in all honesty, the FBI profiler was just a tad annoying at times. However, out of the dusty review that I've given it, the one shining piece was Hartnett and the performance that he delivered. If you don't watch this, I don't think it's the end of the world, but if you do get the chance to, it's always worth checking out a feature and making up your own mind as well, because you never know, you might like it more. So, there you have it, Trap, Ending Explained, and Review. If you want to see more movies from 2024 broken down, then click on the card in the top corner. There's an entire playlist there. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. And finally, if you'd like to see what I gave this movie out of 5 stars, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.